Paul. G'day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and any other people who love Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. We're live here on a Monday night like we normally are. Keithy Broom here in Brisbane. It has been super hot here in Brisbane. It's been about 33 degrees today. Now I volunteer at my local soccer club, so I was out in the heat. But while I was out there, I was still getting paid with my mining contracts, which made me feel even better while I was in the heat. So I was working away, and Bitcoin's climbed. It's live now at $10,800 US. So very close to hitting the $11,000 mark, which is very, very good. And our special guest on the call is normally Paul Weeks and myself and various other people every week. We've got a whole bunch of people watching. I'll just double check. We're live there. We're live. There we go. And g'day, Connie, Robbie, Tomo, Glenn, how you going? So there's a number of people watching. Just say g'day in the chat. And if you've got a question for Bill, we've only got 30 minutes from Bill, and he's got another meeting. He's in Dubai. And I'll spill the beans, Bill. You've just come from the gym, mate. You're working out, which is good. We do want a healthy, vibrant owner of the business. We don't want you falling over at some stage through heart failure or overweight or anything like that. We all know you're a healthy guy, so welcome to you. First off, Bill, I'll just go to Paul and say g'day quickly before I hand over to you, Bill. Paul, things all right? I've got a great banner in the background there, mate. We're doubling up here, mate. How are you?
Hey, mate. Yeah, I've got to get on board with this. This is a great company, so why not have a great banner? Hey. It's pretty good down here on the Gold Coast. We had a lovely day today. Who said that golf does not pay? Look at that, $50 certificate winning today. Can go out and buy a Bitcoin contract, eh? Not too bad, eh?
You turned pro.
Just by playing golf. This is my new 7-day weekend.
Well done, Paul. Well done indeed, mate. And yes, you can buy contracts because they're still available. I just went online 15 minutes ago and I bought 2 Bitcoin contracts at $35.80 American. It's about 45 Australian each, $90. I'm getting a little bit less than that daily in my Bitcoin payments at the moment till the 28th hits, which is coming in 9 days' time, you little ripper, as we say down under. And then my terahash will go up substantially. But because of the profit coming out, I've done what Bill suggested and taking the profit to compound to buy more. So I thought I'll just test it again, which I always do. I go there every day, buy hash power, and I was able to buy 2 more contracts. And it took about 11 minutes from the time it left my CoinJar account here in Australia. It was verified and confirmed within 5 seconds of me paying, and I went back to bitcoinpaypage.com, verified within 5 seconds, and then within 11 minutes, it was in my back office as a purchase of 0.4 terahash. So I got 2 more contracts to my total. That's all I've been doing for the last 9 months is talking to people about mining contracts, computer power contracts, and keeping my Bitcoin and my terahash increasing at every opportunity, because I know 2018 is going to be awesome. So it's fantastic we got you on today, Bill. Looks like the Wi-Fi you're in a hotel there, your camera's gone off there. Oh, there you go. So we'll throw to you, Bill. How's things in Dubai, and what's happening with you at the moment? At the opportune time, your Wi-Fi is going in and out, cutting in and out. So obviously you're having problems. We were just talking a minute ago, so things are all right. Maybe you turn your cat. Oh, yeah, you go.
I can hear you now, actually. I just changed Wi-Fi. I've got to keep changing connection. Or just quickly, I know that you mentioned the word compounding, and you mentioned that I just came from the gym. You know, we're all excited about compounding wealth in the dollar form, in the Bitcoin form, in the Ethereum form. But how often do we think about compounding our wealth on the health basis? I know Keithy you're engaged in soccer outside, walking your dogs every day. And I know Paul's on the golf course probably twice a day, 7 days a week, pretty much. This is investing in yourself. To me, this is the most important investment that anyone can actually do, you know. And the compound effect works like this. In money, we know how it works, don't we? If you put money in the bank, the compound effect really strips the wealth from you in one sense. If you actually compound leverage your time, like in affiliate programs and things like that, you can actually multiply your payouts. Well, you've got a health bank as well. And to me, I just came from the gym and I thought I might just spend a minute on this because I think this is really an important subject. You know, life is pretty fragile and things can change relatively quick in our life, as we all know. And you've got to take time out, I think, each day to put a deposit into yourself, into your health bank. So the compound effect really in your health, you know, it works for you and it works against you. If you put rubbish in yourself every day, you don't exercise every day, you're compounding that effect over 1 day, 2 days, 365 days of the year, over 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and it takes its toll on you. If you do something for you, even if it's only 30 minutes a day, I was only at the gym for 40 minutes on the, what do they call it, the cross trainer to work up a bit of a sweat. But at least I did something and it deposits in your favor. Now, nothing is guaranteed, but at least you're doing something. It gets the heart rate up, gets a bit of a sweat going, and it makes you feel great. So just other than building wealth for all you guys out there, put some time into yourselves as well on a daily basis. If it's walking the dog, playing a bit of tennis, just going for a walk in the park, it's great to look after yourself in that respect as well. So that's my tip for compounding on your health bank rather than your bank account, Peethy.
Yeah, good on you, Bill. Very, very good too. Yeah, very good. Health and wealth is a great combination to be healthy in both those. Now, I just bought 2 Bitcoin mining contracts. I can't understand how Genesis don't have any, and we still have some. You got some magic formula that you're working with Genesis that they just keep, you have a store of them in some vault somewhere, like you do with your gold and silver, that we've still got Bitcoin mining contracts. Is it? It's unbelievable, mate.
Well, it's not unbelievable when you really consider it. I mean, Genesis has nearly 2 million members, so they'll open up their door to their members would have nothing. It'd be gone. Okay, and in one sense, we're a licensed reseller to Genesis Mining. I was there at Genesis last Monday and last Thursday, and on Tuesday I flew to Sweden to the huge mining farm. It's absolutely, I mean, I thought Iceland was big. It's tiny compared to the Swedish facility, and the technology there, it's the most advanced that they actually have. They also opened up one in Asia recently as well. So why do they supply us? One, we have a trust relationship. Quite a bit of echo there. I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe it's gone now. Yeah, it's gone now. We have a fantastic trust relationship with them, and we in our meetings last week in Germany with Dr. Marco Kron and their their consultant. I actually did an interview with him that'll probably come out later in the week. Just a very brief interview. We spoke about the different things, but I can confirm to people that we'll be moving forward with a joint venture project with Genesis this year, which is fantastic news for our company and our members, and also for Genesis because it's a win-win situation. And they honour us with contracts simply because we're much smaller in one sense compared to what they are, but we're still putting out the message regarding their company. We're still actually paying them every week as well, of course, so they're still generating cash flow, of course. If they shut off completely, they have no cash flow coming in. So in one sense, I suppose what's the motive for them to supply us and not themselves? One is they're probably too big. They'd open the door, the gate would be open. It's all probably gone within 24 hours. We restrict it. We're much smaller than we restrict it to 1 terahash for customers. We restrict it to 5 terahash for affiliate members. So we can sustain that, even though it's quite fragile at the moment, I must say, until these new mining farms open up as we move forward. But the demand is just significant. I mean, anywhere that you can double your money or get significant returns on your money, you can imagine the number of people that attracts. It's significant, and it's not getting less as people hear about it. So managing the flow and availability of Bitcoin contracts and even the altcoin contracts is truly significant. Now, we also had a change we saw that Genesis also changed their Ethereum contracts to a pre-sale in the last weeks, and they hadn't turned ours off. We were allowed to still sell, of course, as Ethereum, Zcash, Monero, etc., and they weren't selling some of these contracts, but we were. Now, because on the technology side, it's quite a little bit of a complex situation. So they were turned off, we were selling, and all of a sudden they started selling pre-sale. Okay, so our contracts, the technology side, when it processes from their servers to our servers, recognize that all of a sudden our new contracts coming online are also pre-sale contracts, not the live contracts like the before. So we didn't think that was going to happen. It did happen, and that's why you'll see a message on the back office when you're buying that Ethereum, etc., will go live now in April. I'm still in negotiation, not really negotiation. We're in communication with Genesis regarding this, whether we can go back to the old scenario, because obviously we want people to get paid out now. But it all depends on the amount of the reserve that they have. We know they have reserve. They have reserve. They tell me they have reserve. They have to manage that, of course. So maybe they do. Maybe they just decide to push it through, keep pushing it through to April when the pre-sale goes live, I think, Petey. But the demand is just so strong. Sometimes it's quite difficult to balance out the supply versus the demand and try and issue it. And of course, every time there's a change, there's huge technological changes that have to be made between our APIs, between their servers communicating to our servers, the products we're selling, etc. Sometimes errors occur there. So primarily the ones people who aren't getting paid on the Ethereum contracts, we would suggest at this stage you've got to treat those as a pre-sale. Now, if you're not happy with that, come back to us, send a ticket to contact@swissgoldglobal.com. and we'll look after you there if you like. But primarily from now on, as you can see by the terms of conditions, it's all primarily marked as a pre-sale.
Yeah, that's right. For 30th of April, those ones. Now, we've got a couple of questions, Bill. Just on the Ethereum, in my case, I think it was the 9th of February is the last time in my back office I saw an Ethereum payment from through Genesis. A few people are asking what's the situation on the missing payments. I know in the background they're still mining. They must have some sort of issue on the reporting side. Would that be right for Genesis? Yeah. So they're not showing?
I don't think this is for all people. I think this it's actually it's for some. I mean, we've got tens and tens of thousands of people, and we don't have all that many tickets. But we know for some people there may have been a corruption in the reporting, because what they do is that they forward us. Our server their server talks, they mine for it, they push the payout onto the blockchain, and the payout reports in a big, what's the word? Like a batch payment type thing that sends all the data over to our server, of course, and with that, and that gets transformed into your back office that you're being paid on through the blockchain. Now, of course, sometimes whether there's a server, whether there's bad internet connection, there's many reasons. Unfortunately, it's a pain when it happens. It causes a lot of work for us and for them. Maybe some people do miss out. So what you need to do is you need to send a ticket in with a screenshot to contact@swissgoldglobal.com. Be patient with this, please, because this does happen. It causes a lot of work, and we've got to be able to backtrack it. And because we don't control that, we've got to go back to Genesis, of course, and back to their teams, and they have to go and analyze it, and then they have to go and balance it out. And they may just have to resend the payout back in a future payout report. But everything will be, as everyone knows historically, everyone always gets paid out.
Yeah, there's no question. It's just people are asking who may be new and haven't experienced it before. So that was a great question, Robbie. Thanks very much. He's asked the question there, Robbie Van Meigem. Yeah, just be confident that Genesis will come through, and Swiss Gold Global. I've been in over 9 months now, Bill, and your 10-year anniversary is in less than a month now. We've never failed in getting our payments. Now, we've got another question from Ryan. It's a bit of an interesting one. Any chat when you had a talk with Genesis last week about Bitcoin Cash contracts, when they would be possibly coming online? And an interesting one, is there also any way to add the daily maintenance fee in Bitcoin that was taken from our daily payments in the dashboard? In other words, people are interested in how much of the maintenance fee they're actually paying on a daily basis. I'm not particularly worried about that, because I know it's set at 28 cents per terahash at the moment. But people see the request was as a possibility to actually see that in the back office. So that was it, Bitcoin Cash and showing the daily maintenance bill.
Well, speaking about Bitcoin Cash, obviously that was on my agenda, primarily talking to some of the guys that they refer to Bitcoin Cash as the shitcoin. Excuse my expression. So it's not very technical. Well, these guys. You got to think about this. These guys believe in the white. You presented the white paper a couple of weeks ago, I think, on the Bitcoin. They're true believers in the Bitcoin protocol, and now that they have Lightning, now that Bitcoin's actually launched Lightning, you spoke about how quick your transaction was earlier on, and the fees have certainly reduced. They believe that Bitcoin Cash, they're probably going to mine it. It's going to become available. They're not really a true believer in this particular coin. They'll mine it because people want to mine for it. Of course, they want to own it, but they believe that the coin is more of an opportunistic coin for the developers, for the owners of that, like Roger Ver, etc. Maybe the Chinese. They made a lot of money on this particular coin because everyone got free money, didn't they? For every Bitcoin you had, you got a free Bitcoin Cash. So they weren't really the great believers in Bitcoin Cash. They're certainly believers in having low transaction fees and a fast transaction time. They believe as the Bitcoin protocol evolves, that will actually get better, as we see now with the Lightning process. I mean, Bitcoin has to get better in its protocol. Otherwise, it's not going to maintain it to be the number one coin. People are going to go elsewhere where it works better and where it's more cost effective. So they had some interesting comments on that. Not everyone would agree that they call it the shit coin. It was just interesting that this guy who's very, very knowledgeable, and he's German, so his accent of shit was a little bit different. He didn't say Scheiße, but he was very direct on it, and so I got his point, So that, to answer the question without getting into the technical side of things, we believe that Bitcoin Cash will become available for mining because there's a great demand for that, but it's not probably one of their loved coins in one sense. And they're really backers of Bitcoin, these guys. They believe in the white paper, they believe in the protocol, and they believe, maybe Bitcoin Cash is a bit more centralized operation, which is certainly not all for, Coming back now to the other question, which was regarding the maintenance fees. It's a good question. This comes back to the reporting. I mean, as you said correctly, Keithy, the maintenance fee is transparent. It's 28 cents per terahash. So if you have a 5 terahash contract, you've got $1.40 in maintenance fee. So if your payout's $4.50, you've got to deduct 5 times 28 cents, which is $1.40 from the $5.40, which is going to leave you, of course, your $4 estimated daily payout. So you can do it manually yourself. I mean, reporting, this is something that always can be improved upon. And I think as we move forward through 2008 and doing the joint project with Genesis, we'll see changes there as well, because we would like to improve in our reporting what our members can see. I mean, because January was a big month for a couple of things. The difficulty rate increased probably by over 50%. And of course, the exchange rate from Bitcoin to US dollar also went down from 19,000, whatever it was, down to about 8,000, 7,800. Now it's back up to, I think we just said 10,800, Keithy. So, it's a volatile ride, but we're very optimistic for 2018. As I said, we just had great meetings in Germany, and I went up to Sweden to visit the mining farm. As a company, we're all in with Genesis, and to handshake them and eyeball them and to do a joint venture deal with them. We're very excited about that, what's going to be coming out later in the year. This is going to take months and months and months. But I think as we move forward through 2018, it's really going to set us apart from other companies out there, and certainly going to benefit our members. But we're about sustainable wealth. We're not there to make the big noise and the quick buck. We want to be around. We've been around, I think you said before, 10 years. Next month, I think it is. I don't check the date, but you're right. We want to be around another 10 years and way beyond that as well. Even after I'm gone, we want this to be able to feeding people. It's the whole idea of the purpose of this company is to have sustainable wealth, generational wealth. You can pass it on to your kids, your grandchildren. That's really our whole idea of this. It's not just to get a quick buck now to pay a few bills. We have a much bigger picture than that.
That's fantastic. Yeah, cheers, Bill. You're correct in everything you say, as always. It is there's so many plans in place for 2018, and some you'll share as we go along. But sensational, fantastic, completely open book. That's what I love about Swiss Gold Global, yourself and Genesis. It's completely open book. I did. I was going to ask you too. Any chance of getting one of the three owners on my hangout with you at some stage? That'd be awesome. One of the three Genesis guys.
It's a possibility. You know, they sort of tightened up once they got scammed the boys got scammed last year. I mean, I'm doing a video. I mean, Dr. Marco, as you know, I did a video interview with Dr. Marco Cron last December, and he was at the meeting last week, but he had to rush off to a flight himself, so he didn't do the interview. So he handballed it over to his CTO consultant for Genesis, Philip Salter, who I did a brief interview with. Really, really nice, very knowledgeable young man, very, very smart. He's an engineer and loves the crypto world. And so I did an interview with him. But yeah, that's a possibility. But they're also very cautious on the social media side as well, because I've had people cut bits and pieces out and use it. And they've even got websites built, people pretending to be Genesis who aren't Genesis. If you buy a mining contract here, we're going to give you a free Bitcoin or a free this or free that. And of course, it's just people scamming them. So they're pretty cautious out there what they do. But yeah, I think there's a great possibility there, Keithy, you know.
Okay, great. Thank you. Paul's back. He had a bit of computer problem. Now we've got one more question. We've got a few minutes before you have to go off. Bill, now it was actually Charles. He's a French guy. He wanted to know about the new Swiss Gold Global project. We talked about that, which is great. And about the back office in French. I know there's a number of languages. Is French not one of them at the moment, Bill?
Bonjour, Charles. Okay. And I don't speak French, it's okay. But the language, listen, because with this, we're behind on our languages, and we do apologize for this, Charles. Okay, to be just direct with you guys. We were meant to launch our apps at the end of last year, and we put our apps on hold because the apps were going to be the easiest way to do our languages. We've got multiple languages to do. Some of the back office is actually done, but it's not all up to date. And so the whole idea of having the mobile apps is that people can obviously, businesses on phones these days, and it'd be much easier to get everything updated and translated on our mobile apps. But the big story is because we're doing a JV with Genesis, the whole website, even the brand name is going to change in the coming months, okay, of Swiss Gold Global. That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you what the brand name is at this particular time. But some pretty exciting stuff coming out. So we don't want to go out and translate 12 languages, you know, at significant cost, and then have to go and, of course, get it done again for the new website. So as we move forward with this new design, the new message, and the message is primarily going to be what it is today, plus many other modules as well, which is going to benefit our members, not just what you have now. There's going to be additional things as well. We're going to get those, because we're global, we're going to get those translated as well, because obviously it makes your life much easier, Charles, if you can communicate in your local market, in your native language, and it also builds a bit of trust as well. So that's why we haven't done it, is that I don't like doing things 2 or 3 times. I'd rather get the job all updated than do it once. Mm.
Well, that's good news. What you've said there, Bill, is you've given us a bit of an insight that what's happening in 2018. Obviously, the partnership with Genesis is extremely strong. You've been to the Swedish mining farm, which pales in comparison to the Icelandic farm. It's just the video that Dr. Marco Strange put out there through the Facebook page for Genesis Mining. It's just massive. It's 2 stories high. Did you manage to get a video inside the farm when you were there?
No. They said to me, we were the first ones to go and visit. We were the first visitors. No one else, even Dr. Marco Cron, hadn't been to this particular mining farm. He'd been too busy. Obviously, the other team had, but he had not been there yet. You know, hi Prem, and good to see you. So no, we weren't allowed to take videos. They wanted us to, as I said, we were the first ones to get in the door there to see the Swedish farm, which we did do. But they didn't want us to take videos. Now they'll be releasing another video this week, I believe, on the Swedish farm. They've done another one themselves. They want to use all the videos for the first few months, and after that, they said, well, on my next visit, we can do some video work. I said, that's fine. We really wanted to get in there to visit the farm with our CTO on the mining side, because as I said, we're doing a joint venture with Genesis. That's what we're planning on, and to go and view their mining farm and get a vision, to be able to compare it to, you know, the, let's say, best practices for mining documents and things like that, specifications, it was a great asset to be able to do that. But no, we didn't get any videos. Obviously, we would have loved to have, but we didn't want to. No, we honoured their request.
Did you get in sort of an understanding from them that the 28th that's when the Swedish farm's going live for all these contracts coming up? Did they give you an indication?
The Swedish farm was already live. I mean, you saw the video from Marco Streng, of course, the co-founder of Genesis. They've got all these flashing lights, and it's absolutely a mega place. So they're already producing, and I know some of our members are already experiencing some of the contracts going live already, which is fantastic. But yeah, I spoke to them, of course, because it's really important to us. We've been taking money from people. You know, are all the contracts going to be going live at the end of the first pre-sale was meant to go live at the end of February, and the second pre-sale was the middle of March. Are you on target? Their answer to me was yes. And don't worry, our team is right onto them to making sure that, you know, everything's going to go to plan, because that's really important. The last thing we want is that people start chasing me down, hunting me. Where's my mining power? You know, because we're taking money from you, people, which we take very serious. Taking money from people, not delivering a product, will put you behind bars. And you know, I've been behind bars many decades ago as a criminal detective, but I was able to get out. I don't want to stay there, you know.
Yeah, we don't want to bring up too many old stories, Bill, of you your heydays with brown paper packages and all that sort of stuff back in the 70s. Detective.
I didn't take brown paper packages. Let's be very clear about this, Keithy.
Oh, sorry, that was another program I was watching in an Australian television about old police.
I know which one you're talking about. In fact, when I was in the armed robbery squad, there's a lot of murders happened that time. It was around the time of Russell Street bombing. I just left before the Russell Street bombing, but I was engaged a lot of that time in the armed robbery squad with a lot of those people. It was a very interesting time, actually.
Chopper Reed and all those.
Chopper Reed, yeah.
Lovely characters.
He's now passed on now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right, now we've got you have you got a couple of more minutes? It's nearly nearly half an hour.
Yep.
Because I might throw to Prem, who's just come on. You've answered just about all the questions we've got on the people of her watching live, and have thrown some questions up. Thank you. Now, Prem's just raced back from, g'day, Prem, how you going, mate? Just raced back from his school run, which is awesome. Now, I've only got Bill for a couple of minutes, then he's ducking off because he's in Dubai. I did see that meeting you posted, Bill, or someone posted of you doing a presentation there. So the work ethic you're pumping out is just phenomenal, mate, and we love that. It's great wherever you are. And just to jump on air for 30 minutes, straight from the gym, online, and then off to a meeting just shows you your commitment. That drives your business forward and just keeps energy from us. Prem, you got anything you want to ask Bill while we've got him for a few minutes about the business?
Hello, everybody. First of all, hi, Keithy. Hi, Bill. Hi, Paul. Basically, the last 2 minutes that I jumped on, Bill's pretty much answered anything and everything I wanted to know. I've never really had any doubts or concerns about the mining power being delivered or not, because it's not just us taking the money. The money ultimately goes to Genesis too. It's not we're not the holding tank for people's money. The holding tank really is Genesis, and they're the ones providing the power. And when they say we're going to go live at such and such a date, and they start over delivering, which means they're delivering sooner than they're supposed to, it's already a good sign. We are on track and everything is fine. And my personal strategy, I just wanted to touch on those of you that are interested. What I did is at the beginning of December, I switched all of my mining power to paying out, except for Ethereum. Ethereum remained Ethereum. But for everything else that I've got, I switched it over to mining Litecoin. I'm sitting on dozens of Litecoins right now, and they're only about $200 or so. They did reach $500 at the peak, but now I've got a lot more. I'm hoping that that'll just simply double in price when the next boom comes, which is inevitable. It is just a cyclical thing. Once a year, Bitcoin gives out this massive shock to everybody, and it shakes out the weak, sorts out the wheat from the chaff. But the system has been beautiful because I've been able to mine Bitcoin in the past. I've taken the Bitcoin, and what I've done with it is put it into some exchanges and traded away and diversified my overall portfolio. Some of it I take and buy back more mining with it, but a lot of it, the bulk of my mining power, is now producing Litecoin. And this is an option for your audience because, we have had this 2-month period where there is no mining product coming. There's no returns coming from the contracts already purchased because they only start end of February and middle of March. But people are saying, well, they're not paying yet. Why am I paying in advance? What am I waiting for? And all the other arguments that go with it. Accept that completely. When Bitcoin starts its rise all over again, which is, like I said, inevitable, these contracts are the same contracts that are likely to run out very, very quickly all over again. And at that point, people are like, oh, no, I wish we had more mining power. Well, we've had it all this time. And if you've not been stuck into it, not applying or deploying some kind of a strategy to safeguard your own mining power, to keep increasing it, or to mine something that is going to give you a better return than even Bitcoin, then this has been the time to do it, basically. And, I was looking forward to joining Bill and Claudia, hopefully, but Claudia is now in Panama, so we can just forget about Claudia for a while. She's very active. She works 24/7 still, but geographically, she seems further away than ever before. But, I was hoping to be part of that trip to Sweden. Hopefully in the next round, I'll have a chance to go along and make some videos from there as well. And, take some pictures, have a look at it, and demonstrate to people just how real and genuine and multi-billion-dollar worth of a business this is. And, it's such a pleasure to be part of this because I've been on holiday for nearly 10 days. I've just come back last week, and I've been earning every single day without lifting a finger whilst I'm on holiday. And it's just incredible to be able to show. I showed Bitcoin to some of the staff at the hotel we were staying in, discussed with a few people, although my wife wasn't very happy that I'm talking business while on holiday. On the beach, actually, the people selling all these bed sheets and stuff like that, I was telling them, hey, do you take Bitcoin? I'll buy it if you have Bitcoin. He says, no, how do I do that? I'm like, yeah, download an app on your mobile. Do you have a smartphone? He's like, yeah, everybody has a smartphone. Even the hawkers on the beach, they have smartphones, right? Download an app, get yourself some Bitcoin, and let me just buy with Bitcoin. One of them actually downloaded the app, but he wasn't ready. So obviously, the next time we went, he just wasn't there on the beach anymore. But it's growing, and this is a small group of islands outside Africa. Very few people even know it exists. It's a tiny little country called Cape Verde, and even there is an awareness of something taking place in the world called Bitcoin. And I'm just so glad to be part of Swiss Gold Global and to have the ability to even discuss these things with people.
Fantastic, Prem. Fantastic. Now, I'll ask you and Bill one question before we let Bill go. The total number of wallets, Bitcoin wallets in the world. Now, I've gone to blockchain.info, and there's a running chart there, and it says round about 23 million wallets. Could you, if you have the knowledge, Bill, first I'll ask you, maybe, is that just the blockchain wallets on their exchange and not other exchanges combined, or is that all people in the world with Bitcoin wallets?
That's a good question. I think we'll have to give that to the esteemed partner here, Prem. He probably does a lot more research than that to what I do. I think it's just the ones on blockchain. What do you think, Prem?
Yeah, I agree, Bill. Actually, blockchain has no way of tracking or monitoring wallets with anybody else. So 23 million are just on the blockchain. And I did a training recently, a live training in London, and I was telling people you must have a blockchain wallet as a reserve, but it's not the best to have because they've got support issues. They're not very quick, and they've got too many customers basically. But if you have dozens of other wallet providers, there's no way blockchain can actually track and monitor that. So blockchain itself cannot tell you how many people there are with blockchain addresses. There are way more addresses than there are wallets, and those two are different. So even a blockchain wallet can have multiple addresses. That is not captured in that statistic. That is just 23 million people with a wallet on blockchain. You still then have probably twice as many more people with wallets outside. I mean, I have 8 wallets, right? I have 8 wallets with 8 different providers for various different reasons. Some I don't even use, some aren't even verified yet. But if you include my exchange wallets, I've Topia of New Zealand, and I've got a few others. When you add all these together, one individual is likely to have many more wallets than just one on the blockchain. So I think the number's much bigger than that.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. I still think it's 10% of the world minimum maybe have, we're still at the very, very start, 2018. A lot more people are waking up. There's a lot more coverage in Australia here of what's happening in the cryptocurrency. A lot of it's negative, FUD, what is it? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt, put about from the mainstream media through the people who run the media, not the presenters, but the people behind the scenes who say, we'll run this story and we'll run that story. We won't run that story, which actually tells the truth, but we'll run these other cloudy looking stories. Just before you go, Bill, I know you're in Dubai. Where are you heading next? And you're obviously got a good positive feeling from meeting with Genesis last week. The relationship you have with them is just fantastic for us as a company, that we're partnered with $1 billion company. Any hints the next couple of months of what's coming up?
Well, I've given you quite a few hints already, I suppose, Keithy. Should have been an investigator. A bit persistent, aren't you? Anyway. Yeah, just let me touch on what Prem said a bit earlier on in his communication regarding the Bitcoin availability of contracts. He's absolutely right. They're there now. Now, will they be there in the future? We don't know. We know the demand. I mean, just look at the numbers, the payouts. Even with the 50% increase in difficulty rate in the last month and the pullback on US dollar BTC exchange rate price, the payouts returns are just fantastic. So the demand is so strong. So, when Genesis opens up their doors with 2 million members, close to that, I believe, there's a lot of contracts that are going to move out the door. So the availability, it's not guaranteed because we just cannot keep up the sustainability of the supply to meet the demand. Now, as I mentioned to you last week, we had a couple of days of good meetings with Genesis, and plus I went up to the Swedish mining farm with one of our other CTOs, who's an engineer, to look at, because we're doing it's confirmed, we're not going to market on social media, people, but I can say this, that we believe we'll be moving ahead in 2018 with a very, very strong joint venture with Genesis. Okay, there's still a lot to do, still early days on planning and legalities. It's going to take many months to pull off, but it's going to be fantastic as we move forward. So we do have a respectful. And this I don't take for granted. You don't partner up with a company like this and vice versa. This is something I don't take for granted because we nurture this relationship very, very well, and we will not do anything to jeopardize that. Because if you jeopardize that, or if members jeopardize that by making claims regarding income claims and this and that and everything else, it puts everyone in jeopardy, to be quite honest, because it's already under the spotlight. I travel around and I'm in Dubai now with banking meetings and different things. I've got to deal with the Swiss authorities regarding banking. They ask all these questions, and it takes time and energy, a lot of money to respond to these authorities to actually do that. I get annoyed with it, but that's the world we live in. That's why I love Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. It's a permissionless payment system. If I want to do some business with Prem and he's selling me something, I like the price he's got and he's willing to accept cryptocurrency, we don't need to go and ask anyone else. We can just transact with each other and it's all done. It's a done deal. Beautiful. But of course, this is this is really what goes on. You've got the struggles of the centralized system wanting to hold on to the power against a decentralized system. So there's going to be some pretty rough waves out there. I saw you put a photo up regarding some waves on the Gold Coast there. I think it's going to get pretty rough out there between the centralized authorities, trying to manage and control, of course, decentralized cryptocurrency. But I did see in the US, which is quite interesting. I didn't put it up on Facebook yet. I saw that in Arizona that they've approved in Congress there that you can pay your taxes in Bitcoin. So that's a bit of a breakthrough for the US. That's a good sign. It's good to have that. What else moving forward? Where am I going? Okay, after here, I'm here for a few more days, and I head back to Europe. I'll be back in Europe a couple of weeks, and I'll be back in Dubai, and then Dubai I'll be back to got to go to LA, Orange County to work on this project for our members for 2018. I said to you that we will be changing the brand in many months' time from Swiss Gold Global, so there will be a brand name change. I'm not going to tell you what that is right now. Then I'm going to go over to Panama to meet up with Claudia. She's summoned me to be there for this 10-year celebration, so I'm going to be there for a few days, and then I'll get back to Europe, I think. And but I'm thinking of actually coming over to Australia, guys. Maybe May via Singapore to see some of the team members there. So maybe we catch up in Oz. Let Melbourne weather get a bit warmer first, and then I'll come down there if you like, and come up to the Gold Coast and catch up with you again, Keithy. But let you know what those dates will be.
Yep, fantastic, mate. We'll be ready. We'll be ready and waiting. There'll be hundreds waiting for you at the airport, just like the Queen arriving from the UK. Well,
I don't need that. I mean, it's great. I must say, I love traveling and meeting the people. We're in partnership. I mean, you talk about our partnership with Genesis. In truth, I'm in partnership with Prem. Prem's in partnership with us. You're in partnership with us, Keithy, Paul, all the other members. Tomo Glenn, I think you dropped his name earlier on. Hi, Tomo. All you people are partners with us, so we respect that. We don't want to abuse that. We're not perfect. We try and do our best. That's why we need to communicate. When things aren't right, communicate to us. Show us. That's how we learn, and that's how we can involve the system better. Because this is really, we're all in here for the same thing, aren't we? For a better quality of life, for more freedom. This is our purpose.
Not a problem. That's you've got the right words, and you're speaking what we're thinking, Bill, which is a good thing to have an owner doing that. So yeah, we'll covertly meet you in Australia. We won't have too much fanfare. There'll be no news cameras. I might have my Bitcoin TV with Keithy camera out. That'll be about it. So it'll be, as you say, Swiss Gold Global is sort of flying under the radar. A lot of people you talk about mining and Swiss Gold Global, and they haven't heard of us. So in some ways, that's a good thing that we're just doing our thing and introducing, as you said, by face-to-face talking to people, growing the business organically, I think is what the term you use. So that's fantastic.
Well, listen, we're a service company. We're here to serve you people. We are here to serve you guys, really, and deliver products and services. That's our job. That's our customer services team job, is to serve you guys. I'm here to serve you, represent you, making sure that you get your products and services that you buy, and we do it at the best, and hopefully hope you get the best possible returns and keep evolving the platform and business model. Now, we have a lot more to do, but I think this year is going to be a bit of a game changer. I think second half of this year is going to be a big game changer, and we're certainly looking forward to that. And we all want things to happen faster, of course, but sometimes, fast is not so good. We also got to have that word sustainability in there. We've got to test systems. And yes, we'd like to have the languages. We want to have the mobile app. So I told them to stop developing that because of all this brand name change and because of the new concepts and new modules coming out. Everything's going to have to be retranslated again, which means you do the job 2 or 3 times, which is quite inefficient. I know it's a frustration for our members out there. I do apologize for that. But this is a fast-moving market, and we have to manage our resources as much as possible, making sure that we can move forward in a solid way. But I think reporting issues, marketing, branding, a lot of those things are going to be addressed as you roll out this concept.
Yeah. Okay. Can I take a guess?
I'm going to have to rock and roll, Keithy. Yeah. You always have a way of keeping me longer. I know that.
Just before you go, can I have a guess at the new brand name?
Yeah, it's called Keithy Broom, Australia.
It'd be Aussie Bill Mining, Aussie Bill's Mining, or
No, well, it's not about me. Let's drop my name out of it. It's got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
In that sense, I don't want to get my ego going here. No, it's nothing to do here. We just want to be a humble company that serves people the best, you know.
Okay.
So stop trying to build me up, creepy. Okay.
We all know that, Bill. You've got a great sense of humour, mate. Be great to see you when you get down here, and safe travels. Thanks for all you do, mate. It's 1,000 hours a week that you do for us, mate, and we love you for that. And
we love you guys too. And Prem, we haven't spoken for a while, but you know, you're one of them. You know, certainly one of our greatest leaders we've had, and certainly you know your esteemed banking history and knowledge that you have. We need to catch up, and maybe we need to get the UK before I head off to Ausland as well, or something. You know, we can chat about that. You know,
we are ready.
The next month I'm pretty full on, but let's chat and we can work something out, Prem. Okay, guys, everyone around, thank you for attending the call. Bye bye.
Good on you, Bill. Thanks very much. Great to have the owner of the business on, and just building slowly. That's, you know, building slowly and steadily the business as you go along. Now, Paul, just throw to you. I know things are building. You've got the Commonwealth Games coming up in on the Gold Coast. When is that? Next month in March, is it, or April?
It starts on the 4th of April, but it's all happening down here now. Roads are closing, people are moving in. 620,000 of them coming over from London, from all over Europe. So they're all coming for the Commonwealth Games. Nice sunshine,
and
yeah.
A lot of
Now
places will be. Yeah, a lot of places will be accepting Bitcoin, I guess, as international visitors come in.
There will be a lot of at Brisbane Airport, the first airport in the world that's accepting Bitcoin, and a lot of different restaurants and clothing stores are all accepting Bitcoin. So yeah, it's all happening in Brisbane, and hopefully that'll expand to the Gold Coast within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, because I know you're very good at keeping up with what's going on media-wise for Bitcoin coming out. Now, I want to throw to Prem because you posted a story which people have commented on in the chat box here about that particular Bitcoin address where someone had bought a phenomenal amount. The question is, did that have any influence on the rise and fall or the up and down of the price, or even that amount of Bitcoin that was exchanged or bought was still a little drop in the ocean of because there's, what is there now? There's 17 million of the 21 million, or 16.8 million Bitcoins in circulation. That particular purchase you talked about, of someone buying and selling there, that had a positive or negative effect, do you think, or nothing to do with it really?
Oh, no, it's definitely a positive if you capture it, but you have to bear in mind that whoever bought it didn't advertise it. They got caught out because the blockchain system is so transparent. You can catch an address. If you can catch an address and look at the flow, you get to see what they've been doing in the past and what they've been doing now. They already had 55,000 Bitcoin in there, and then they added another 41,000 to it. So the total amount of Bitcoin they're holding right now is 91,000.
Could you explain the back end of that story for us?
Okay, so it's very, very simple. Just going back a little bit, you know, over the last 2 months, Bitcoin has been all doom and gloom, right? So it's been crashing, and two of the effects are the following. I know people here in London who bought into Bitcoin when it was at 16,000, 17,000. They were first-time investors, and when they handed over their money and got Bitcoin in exchange through one of the trading desks, what happened there is, you know, within days, literally 24 hours, they saw the value of their money. Let's say somebody put in 10,000 British pound. All of a sudden, they're sitting on 7. They're like, "What? I've lost 3. Just, you know, I could have waited a little." But if they, you know, that 7,000 then became 5. They're like, "Oh, what? You know, I could have bought twice as much." But that's not how they're looking at it. What they're looking at it saying, "I have lost 5,000." Yeah, they're looking at the loss they have made because they entered at the wrong price. Now, this is the thing with not just Bitcoin, with absolutely anything. You cannot time the market. You cannot enter at a point where you think that from here and onwards, it's only going to go up. That's not necessarily the case. So people treat it like a regular traditional investment, and that is a big, big mistake, because Bitcoin defies all the odds. It's got a built-in mechanism that it can accommodate a lot of price increases. It can be 10 times or 100 times higher than where it is right now. So it's got the ability. The point is, have you got Bitcoin or not? If you haven't, fine, get some. Doesn't matter what the price is, because eventually you're going to be glad that you even made this effort of getting that Bitcoin. You know, you don't buy something and immediately look at the price of, whoa, where is it now? Do you ever buy a plot of land or a bungalow or something, and then the next month go looking, whoa, what's the current market price? No, it's an investment you've made to expose some of your money into an asset class that you've not had before, maybe, or you want to diversify into. And that money that you've used was doing absolutely jack sitting in the bank anyway. So what's your problem? You shouldn't really worry about that. But with this Bitcoin address, what it demonstrates is that there was a point in time. Now, the total amount of Bitcoin used was around 344 to 350 million dollars that were purchased in just 4 days. Now, this is 350 US dollars, so I suspect in Aussie dollars it's roughly $500 million or more. And no, this is $500 million Aussie dollars going in from one account. Now, we don't know who this is. We can only speculate and guess, but it's irrelevant. But somebody decided to put in half a billion Aussie dollars or more into Bitcoin at a certain point. And you don't make this decision so easily. You do not, you wouldn't do that with your $10,000. How would you do it with $500 million? So they have made a strategic move. This is not average investing. This is very specific, very strategic investing. They did not buy it at the lowest available price. They did not buy it at the latter recent higher price of $10,000. They bought it somewhere in between at 8.5. So what they were thinking is this, and I know this from some trading experience in the past. I used to deal with clients that had that kind of money to buy shares and stuff, and they used to put in millions in one go, just in one morning, millions executed on the exchange, and I used to execute that for them. So from that mindset, I know that when they're taking a position, they're saying, this little range out here is enough. Anything I can capture within this range, I'm happy with it. But if you look at that Bitcoin address, and you posted about it, I think, if you take that Bitcoin address, put it into the blockchain, and you see what actually happened there were hundreds of addresses that fed into that system. So that informs me that they really have a lot of contacts all over the world from whom they've been buying. So they didn't buy this in one exchange, because the daily traded, average traded volume of Bitcoin isn't as big as that. It's maybe 20 million, 30 million, 40 million daily traded on Bitcoin alone. And when you add the other altcoins, that's when you get the daily traded volume. The daily traded volume, they purchased 4 or 5 times of the daily traded volume, and it didn't show up on any charts. How is that possible? Because they bought a little bit, they bought 5 Bitcoin here, 10 Bitcoin there, and one individual cannot accomplish that. So clearly it tells me this is probably a bank or a large financial institution that has a number of minions working behind desks, like I used to be once upon a time. I used to work behind a desk, take orders, and say, okay, your job is get in touch with these 20 traders, and by lunchtime, you have executed all these trades within a certain price range. So this is what this particular address has done, and all it should tell people is a very simple story, that somebody with a lot more muscle power than all of our audience here put together times 100, right? So all of your audience, Keithy, I know you've got some very wealthy people there, including yourself, but all of us, including Bill Rowell, all of us put together times 100, that's the muscle power in purchasing power that this account expressed in just 4 days' time. And that should inform us that they are preparing for an astronomical rise. They're not. Nobody puts in half a
Billion.
trillion. No, yeah, $500 million. Sorry, not half a trillion. $500 million worth of money into something to make 20% or 10% or 15%. Yeah,
Wasn't the Queen, was it?
No, unfortunately, the Queen's advisor is Sir Evelyn de Rothschild, and he's bankrupted her. So the Queen is a captive in her own palace, unfortunately. Poor thing. My heart goes out to her. She's been faithful to her subjects, but the people she's surrounded by shake hands in a different way. So they're not quite the same.
Okay, all right. You don't hear that at the change in the guards on a Friday afternoon. So what you're saying, Prem, is that's some inside information that someone has made a decision with a lot of pulling power, a lot of money, that $8,500–9,000 is a fantastic time to get involved with a large sum of money, and we're talking $500 million Australian. What's going to happen? They're just expecting or knowing that Bitcoin is going to go up, as opposed to the other 5 million people involved in Bitcoin who, like you say, the person that you were speaking about earlier, putting $10,000 and immediately going down to 5,000, then panicking. Most people that put money in, would you agree, have no knowledge of how this type of industry works. It's related in some ways to how the stock market works, in the same way of up and down, up and down. It's just happened to be a cryptocurrency that not many people know exactly what it is or what it does. And they're guided by the mainstream media of it being, it's a bubble, it's this, it's that. But in the background, the people with know-how are putting $500 million in. If everyone knew that, then their attitude would change pretty quickly, you reckon?
Yes, absolutely. Simple story. I don't want to keep you too long, but simple story. This happened with a country once known as the Gold Coast. Now it's called Ghana in West Africa. The Gold Coast was advised by Goldman Sachs that they need to get rid of their gold, and they crashed the market. So Ghana ended up selling their gold really cheap. Guess who bought the gold? Goldman Sachs themselves. They bought their gold cheap, as much as they could. And then they pumped the story saying Ghana is now practically bankrupt. Ashanti Gold became Anglo Gold Ashanti. That was the main mining company owned by the Ghanaian people, has now become Anglo Gold Ashanti, owned by foreign people yet again. And what they did is they pumped the price of gold up when they bought it cheap, and then they sold it. So don't be under any illusions. Anybody buying a large amount of Bitcoin is hoping for the price to double, minimum double, if not treble. And then they will also be looking to sell it, right? But they will not be necessarily selling it for cash. They will be using that enhanced muscle power to diversify into other altcoins. So keep your eyes on the main altcoins. Do not ignore it. I saw a graphic recently where there's a line in the middle and a person is pointing at one dot called Bitcoin, and above it says no coiner. So the no coiner is pointing at Bitcoin because they can't see anything else. On the other side of the line is a list of about 20 different altcoins, and the person pointing at a whole selection of them saying coiner. So the coiners have a whole selection to choose from because they're aware of other valuable cryptocurrencies that are still going cheap. The rest of the world only looks at Bitcoin and only hears Bitcoin. They don't really necessarily know about the other coins. So I'm not promoting any MLM-based coins, by the way, but what I'm telling you is this. There are significant investors coming in. They are already there. We can see them by evidence. We can't name them because their names are hidden, just as your name is hidden on the blockchain. We can't name these people, but a lot of money is being pumped in, and they're preparing for something that is going to be massive up to a certain point where they will be looking to sell. So there will be another, what people will call a crash. I just call it normal market movement, right? It's just waves in a sea. You know, sometimes the boat is up, sometimes the boat is down. Hey, it happens all the time, but at least you're getting somewhere. You know, there's no point in parking your boat in a safe harbor where it doesn't do anything. All it does is gather some green fungus all around it, and that would be your bank. That's where your dollars are rotting away.
Life is no fun in a boat going nowhere, Prem.
Correct.
That's right. So, just look at Genesis, the diversification of how many coins they mine. 6 at the moment. There's a good basis of following knowledge of a $1 billion company. These are the coins that we will only mine. They're not mining the 750th coin on the coincap.io out of the 1,500 that are available. So you're absolutely right in that. Now, just to finish off, we've just gone over there. It's great to have Bill on. It's great to catch up with you as well. I'm glad you've come back from your holiday. You got that beard on again, mate. So you've relaxed back into the winter time, I guess.
I was sunbathing with my glasses on, so I've got like a white rim here, and everything else is bronzed a little bit. So, but I'm still in holiday mode, so I'm not shaving this anytime soon. I work from home. I have the freedom to be in my pajamas.
That's right. That's a sight we do not ever want to see live on our Hangouts. Thank you, Prem. There will be small children watching, and that might put them off Bitcoin for life. But that's it. We're all on holidays. I was down at my soccer club today. I volunteer as a coach. I volunteer to be the groundsman and jump on the mower and go up and down. I spend 3 or 4 or 5 hours every couple of days down there. I love football or soccer, and I love helping my club out. But I know in the back of my mind, I'm getting paid daily with my cryptocurrency contracts. And that is so reassuring. There's so happy and positive energy that you get from that when you talk to people. When you go and get a coffee and they're in the 8 to 5 grind or coffee grind, there's a bit of a segue there, but that they're in their job and they don't know how to get out. This is the thing that people in today's world, from 2010 to 2018, things have changed dramatically in technology and the way to do business online. Everything's changed, and people are unsure of how to get out of their life they're in to have a better life. They see the 1 or 2 people being successful but think it can never be me. But this type of business we're now opens up, and I'll ask you, Paul, opens up a whole raft of opportunities for people. Would you agree in the last, say, 7 to 8 years compared to what we've been in?
Yeah, look, it's just so exciting. The mining side of it is it's new to people. They don't understand it, but when they do get their head around it, it's just so simple. And then they explain it to other people. And I talk to a lot of people in the senior area that have invested all their money in superannuation, and now they've come out of that. What do I do with our money now? And they ask me questions. What do you do, Paul? How do you do it? I say, well, this is how we do it. And it's surprisingly, it is starting to take off. It's exciting for me, and it's exciting for everybody that comes on board with Swiss Gold Global, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I think Prem hit it on. Just to finish off, I'll throw to you to finish, Prem, that you touched on people putting 2,000 or 5,000, or people in my circles putting $500 or $1,000 into mining because they've got money sitting there doing nothing. It's just in an account in a bank earning, in Australia it's 3.3 or 3.5% if you're lucky for the year per annum interest, but you've got a few fees to come out of your account monthly as well. But people having this opportunity to have a part-time passive income and get paid through a new form of technology, the blockchain technology, with Bitcoin as a front runner, and Litecoin and Dashcoin and Zcash. I mean, there are all these other coins that will have tremendous value coming through. People are clambering to find out the information, and we just turn into information givers.
That's right. Yeah, that's. I've always stuck to this simple principle. I want to lead with value. That's how I've built my business up. I give value first, and if people see sense in it, then they come back with more questions. You answer those, and then you have a business model. and people give you business anyway. To make money at any cost and every cost, that's not my cup of tea. There are many programs out there that will not last, but those who get in quick and do something with it can make money, yes. But to me, every $100 that I have is not worth losing. I want to multiply it. I don't want to lose it. So to multiply it, we have the best possible system you could imagine, because you have the alternative of what to do with your cryptocurrency. So if you had flipped some of your Bitcoin when it was at its peak, at that point, if you had the foresight to flip it into gold, and now the gold, you had sold it and bought back Bitcoin, guess what? You would have lost nothing. In fact, you would have doubled your money. You would not have to go through the downward movement of Bitcoin, because it goes up and down. Gold, on the other hand, is like sand on the seashore. It is stable, whereas Bitcoin is the lashing waves. So you can combine the two of them and have a lovely surfing time. So yeah, I mean, I would tell people, especially you mentioned your Australian audience. Adelaide, Australia is the city where in 2014 in December, the world's biggest power brokers got together, and they decided and agreed and had it almost in unison, agreed on a business strategy that if banks get into trouble ever again, they're not going to print any more money, because nobody's going to entertain that aspect anymore. They've printed enough money. So, the rest of the world is going to say, well, we're not going to accept your money as a payment because you just keep printing more of it. So instead of printing more money, they're going to dip into your bank accounts and take those dollars you've got in your bank to help support the bank that is failing. So your money will be taken away without your permission, without your consent, from your own account in your own bank, without you being able to do anything with it. And this was decided in Adelaide, Australia in December 2014. And if you don't believe me, I'll share with you a link. People can read it for themselves. This is known as the bail-in. This is the other reason why I'm involved in this. I'm aware of what the banks are going to do in the future when things get a little more dodgy. This is why you need to have physical assets in your own hand, in your own possession. For that, we have gold and silver. But instead of spending your money straight on gold and silver and buying it from your own pocket, why don't you just earn it for free? You can earn gold and silver for free. How do you do that? Well, get yourself some mining. It returns you, even in the worst case scenario, it returns you like, several times more than your bank can ever pay you, right? Yes, your capital will come back a little later, but, at least you're getting paid, and you get paid a daily income coming out of it. Take that, and you have now different options. Buy yourself some gold and silver, tax-free in Switzerland, and leave it there, or you can have it imported if you want to pay some transfer cost and possibly some local taxes. That's your choice. But you have that option. You earn for doing absolutely nothing, like you did mowing the lawn. I did lying on a beach. I was earning, and this is the greatest testimony I have, because I'm earning from a system that is established, a billion-dollar company that actually works. And Bill Rowell probably mentioned all the intricacies of just what it takes to get a mining farm set up, especially when he touched on the new Swedish mining farm. That is a system. It is not money from other people's pockets. It is money from a system that is reliable and is here to stay. That computing power is greater than all the supercomputers of governments put together in the world. And it's more valuable than this Large Hadron Collider scientific machine they built, spending 6 billion British pound under the Swiss Alps. They built this machine to prove or disprove some God particle or something. Nobody, not one person's been fed as a consequence of that. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is banking the unbankables, even in the heart of Africa. And this is why we are on the right kind of a revolution, where computing power is used for the right reasons to actually benefit people, rather than some kind of scientific merry-go-round,
Very, very, very good information, and very clearly spoken, Prem, as always. gives us an insight. A lot of people watching will understand exactly word for word what you've said. The banks, and any idea, any names in Adelaide in 2014 spring to mind? Or we just want to.
No, it was basically the G20 nations, and it wasn't the banks themselves. It was the essentially the treasury and the banking heads of G20, different governments. G20 got together. But I'll share it with you. I mean, it's on the United Kingdom, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs website. It tells you very clearly what a bail-in is. It's on the UK government website, and on a bail-in is a very simple thing. When you deposit money to a bank, you call yourself a depositor, but to the bank, you're a creditor. Why? Because you can take your money out anytime you want, which is why they try to lock you in. And if you break your deposit early, you have to pay a penalty to them to take out your own money. Why? Because you think you're a depositor. They see you as a creditor, as a liability to whom they have to pay interest. On the other hand, when you borrow, you're looking at it as a liability. No. They love you when you borrow because you are an asset to them. You are earning an income for them. You are a revenue-producing slave to the banking system. So therefore, loans are assets, deposits are liabilities. It's the exact mirror opposite. And therefore, the website says very clearly, creditors will be liable for bailouts. It says it in very plain terms. It's just that people don't understand it, right? It's like quoting some religious text, and people can make of it without digging deeper. People can draw all sorts of conclusions about it. But if you dig deeper and get to its original meaning, you will begin to see, that's not what it said at all. It never says money is the root of all evil. Well, it does say money is the root of all evil. It doesn't say money is evil. Money is the root of evil because the greed and the power attached to it is the root of all evil. So how much more evil should be the banking system that seeks to first enslave you as a borrower, withhold your money from yourself by pretending to do something nice with it, whereas all they do is for every dollar you deposit, they just lend out 10 more dollars to other people on credit cards. This is what banks do. So the system itself is flawed, which is why Bitcoin was born in the first place. I hope that kind of explains it.
That does. That clears everything up. That clears the world's problems up in about 2 minutes. And whatever you do, don't go onto the Panorama program, Prem. Otherwise, you'll be run down by a double-decker bus crossing the road in London by an ex-banker.
They'll never have me on there. They'll never put me on Panorama. And they'll edit what I say.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, but I'm still 60
minutes.
Yeah, England 60 minutes. That's right. Yeah, or 55 minutes because they're on time-saving things over there. But yeah, I'd watch Crossing the Road from now on. When you're dropping your kids at school, there might be some, disgruntled ex-bank manager who recognises you, and he's driving a double-decker bus because that's the only job he can get, and he won't blow his horn first. It'll just be the 157 running late for Pontypool or somewhere. Anyway, fantastic insight as always, Prem. The bottom line is we're in a great company, Swiss Gold Global. We have a fantastic owner who's so positive and knows where he's going. We have a great partnership with Genesis. So anyone who's in our business is in the right place at the right time. And whatever happened in 2017, 16, 15, 14, what's happening today on the 19th of February 2018 and onwards from here is just looking good. That's all it is. It's looking good and positive. So we can do nothing but be happy and positive. We might be the only 2 of the 15 people in the room are happy and positive, but still we're happy and positive. So Prem, thank you very much for coming on today. Really appreciate it. Safe school runs on a daily basis, mate. Just watch over your shoulder without doing your neck in. Might cost you a bit more in a chiropractor. If you hear do the double-decker buses still have the bell for people to want to get off, or they got the buzzer now, do they?
No, they've moved on. They've moved on.
Moved on. All right, good.
The other ones, the traditional ones, are used for like wedding hires and stuff like that.
Okay, fantastic. Great insight as always. Paul down on the Gold Coast, thank you very much just for coming on as usual, Paul. Love the banner behind. Spread the love to all those 600,000 coming to the Gold Coast for the Commonwealth Games. That'll be unreal. So thank you, mate. Now, that's it, folks. We've gone well over the hour. It's probably our longest one. No thanks to Prem, who likes to have a bit of a chin wag. But it's all fantastic information that you do well to listen to. And make sure you post this on your timeline. The link is there. Just post it and say gold nuggets or Bitcoin nuggets in this hour and 15 minutes can help you help someone today. All right, thanks, guys. Thank you for people watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.